Have you ever been dizzy, not been able to speak right, maybe slurring your words a little bit, um, hard to sit up straight or walk straight, um, hard to relay your thoughts in a cohesive way and try to get somebody to understand you during all this time? And no, I'm not talking about being drunk. I've been drunk. I've had all of those symptoms from being drunk, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about having low blood sugar and how it very much looks like being drunk, and that this happens way more often than it should, that people confuse the two things. I've heard a lot of stories about it, but here's my story about one time where my blood sugar was low. I got confused for being drunk, and it could have gone a way different direction than it did. My name is Ryan Hodges. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I encourage you to go back and look at other videos that I've made, and this is just my journey with type 1 diabetes. I want to help you if you're feeling any way that I'm feeling, that your life could be better with diabetes, because mine has gotten a lot better dealing with my type 1 diabetes over the last 3 months, and it's continuing to do so. I am excited to walk down this journey with you, so I encourage you to go back and subscribe and check out the other videos that I've posted. Now, I believe it was New Year's Eve, and it was either 2021 going into 2022 or 2020 going into 2021. I can't remember. I think it was 2021 going into 2022, because I know that it was like the middle-ish end of, like, not end of COVID, but like the middle of like the height of COVID. New Year's Eve, the family and I just were doing something small at home. We were hanging out. We had a campfire in the backyard. We had shrimp cocktail. I had one adult beverage that is not enough to make me inebriated in any sense of the word. And we were just enjoying just spending time with each other and hanging out. So we're outside, and then all of a sudden, like, my stomach started to hurt, and my wife's stomach started to hurt, and our older daughter, she's getting tired. So we're like, all right, maybe it's time to go to bed. At the same time, I start feeling, hey, my blood sugar is feeling low. So I get up to go to the bathroom, and by the time I made it to the bathroom, I am rushing to the toilet to throw up. Now, I test my blood sugar, and my blood sugar is dropping down into the 50s. And so I'm like, okay, this sucks because I need to eat something, but I'm just throwing up. So I got done throwing up. I figured it's only in the 50s. I'll be okay. And I get to the refrigerator, and I have to go throw up again. So I throw up, and then I get back there and I eat something, and then I quickly throw up again, and my blood sugar is not moving. I keep throwing up, and this goes on for about 20, 30 minutes or so before I think to myself, I got to figure this out before it gets worse. So I told my wife, I said, hey, I just need you to take me to urgent care, because I can't do this. Can you drive me to urgent care? And so she takes me to urgent care. I get into urgent care, and by this point, my blood sugar has been continuing to drop, and it gets to a point where, like, I am not completely walking straight. I'm not able to talk straight. And I probably look drunk. So I go in there and I look at the people behind the counter, and I said, hey, I can't stop throwing up, and my blood sugar's low. I'm a type 1 diabetic. Okay, let me see your ID. Let me see this, right? They get me to sign some stuff. Go ahead and have a seat, and we'll be with you in a minute. Now, there's like one or two other people in the waiting room. And again, it's COVID, so my wife can't be in there with me. So, like, I'm sitting here by myself trying to fight this out. So 10 minutes goes by, and I don't hear anything. And I'm like, listen, my blood sugar's low. I need some help. Yeah. Just go sit down. We'll be with you in a minute. About 5 or 6 more minutes goes by. I keep feeling lower, and I tell them again, and yep. Just sit down and wait. We'll get with you in a minute. So at this point, I'm like, okay, like, I'm still with it enough, like, in my head, but I can't obviously speak it out loud. So I get out my phone and I start emailing myself. I emailed myself the time that I got to the urgent care and what I told them. The next time that I went and told them that my blood sugar was low, the next time I told them my blood sugar was low, and now I'm on my like fourth or fifth time telling them my blood sugar is low, and finally I get called back into the room, and I just think, great, I'm going to get some help for my blood sugar. Hopefully I'll stop throwing up, because I've thrown up, I think, 2 or 3 times in the trash can or the bathroom in the urgent care, and I'm gonna be okay. So I get back into the room, and I sit down in the chair, and all right, what brings you in here today? And the first thing I said is, my blood sugar's low. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I need something to help me, and I also can't stop throwing up. And the guy, I think it was a guy, he's like, okay. Checks my vitals, right? Taking his sweet time, checking my vitals, making sure that I'm healthy. And I'm like, all right, yeah. So what about my blood sugar? He goes, all right, we'll be right back with you. Now I'm sitting back here. Now I'm in the room, still not feeling any better. And the doctor finally walks in. And the doctor says, all right, I hear that you have some nausea. I said, I'm a type 1 diabetic. My blood sugar's low. The nurse comes in and the doctor says, has anybody checked his blood sugar? And the nurse says, no, we haven't done that. Well, he goes, you better do it now. And then I finally was able to get the help that I needed. And it had only been about an hour and a half, and it could have been much worse. Looking back on it, luckily, my blood sugar was not dropping fast, but it had dropped to a point where I was not with it. And learning more about it now, when you're in that position where you are at a point where you're not cohesive enough to speak properly, where it's like you're what's the word? You're just not there, right? That's where neurological stuff starts happening. Your brain stops functioning properly, and it's damage that can go on for a long time. And I've learned this now, and I'm looking back at it like, man, like that could have been a lot worse that night, and I could be way worse off now. Luckily, that doctor finally got in there. Luckily, he told the nurse to check my blood sugar. They checked my blood sugar. They gave me something for the nausea. They gave me something for my blood sugar. And finally, my blood sugar started coming up. I was able to stop throwing up, and I was able to finally go home and just, get better. So like, it's crazy that kind of stuff happens, and it happens all the time. I'm telling you this because if you're a diabetic, number one, have somebody else there with you if you can to advocate for you in a low blood sugar situation. And it doesn't have to be somebody sitting right next to you, but like have somebody trusted that like you could call any time of the day or night and have them talk to somebody for you, right? If that's the case. If you're on a CGM, have somebody following your CGM so that they can see, oh, your blood sugar hasn't moved up or down in a certain amount of time, and maybe he needs help or she needs help, right? There's a lot of ways that you can get that help. I don't have one. I used to have the little bracelet that says that I was a type 1 diabetic, and I'm thinking maybe I need to get another one, right? Like I need to get something that shows that I'm a diabetic right off the bat for when an emergency situation happens. Something that I've heard is, and I heard this from a paramedic on the podcast, the Juicebox podcast that I listened to, is that diabetic tattoos don't do you any good until you're dead, and then they're looking at your body to find marks for them to try to find somebody to help you. Because when paramedics come and see you, they're not looking or caring what your tattoos say. They're trying to fix you. And if you are in a like a hypoglycemic like episode, tattoos don't matter. But it also doesn't necessarily look like low blood sugar right off the bat. But if you have the medical jewelry that shows something is medically wrong with you, that will help you a lot faster. So if you don't have one, get one. I'm going to get another one soon, and we're going to continue to grow this community so that kind of thing doesn't happen, and that people in those medical fields just know better and are able to start helping people better. Learn how to advocate for yourself, learn how to ask people for help, and let's get better control of our diabetes together and just live much longer lives with diabetes. I look forward to continuing to talk to you soon. Have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you later.